Nigerian TV. Nigerian TV.
Country people, una well done. Now welcome to DGM TV, the Ogbonge TV station when they give una Ogbonge news story as they happen and as they hot.
Osawoye Atu, who was the commissioner number one of the commission, he hails from Oriomo, Abiokula Ward to be precise. Then the next person is our brother, yes, from Edo Central. He was representing Edo Central Senatorial Zone because under the Act, all the senatorial districts are represented. You are welcome, sir. Prince Odigie, Emmanuel Odigie from Edo Central Senatorial District. Also a former commissioner now of the Edo State Oil and Gas Commission. You are welcome, sir. And the next one is no other person than our brother Oshomole, Alhaji Rewani Oshomole, who was representing Edo North Senatorial District. They have come before you this afternoon to show solidarity to your candidature and our party, the APC. They have always been members of the APC. They have demonstrated again that they are loyal to this party and that they will contribute to the success of the party. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Our candidate and most respected pastor. You are indeed a man of honor. A detribalized Edo man. A man who God has sent to liberate Edo. I want to say to you, Your Excellency, without fear or favor, that the deception of Godwin Obaseki will be made public to Edo people, and Edo will know him. His government has been a scam. He has been deceptive from day one. After today, you start to see his social media era people start to write, Prince Odigie is a thief, Prince Odigie is that, or Atu is this. I want to say to him, I will tell you the truth. He is overambitious. An overambitious man is a dangerous man, and he's already paranoid. He is doing everything possible to bring down every Edo person that refused to support him. Why? Is it by force? You know, Obaseki should note today, 27th day of August, that I, Prince Emmanuel Odigie, has said the truth to him. By the 12th of September, only 7 people in the executive will be standing with him. And out of that 7, only 3 have electoral value. The rest 4, they are inconsequential. Even if he dissolves his ESCO today, and we are appointing people, they will abandon him. Is it the commissioners who refuse to buy vehicles for official vehicles that will support him? Or the council chairmen that have been working for 3 years in March that have no utility vehicles to enhance their work? I was driving the other day. A council chairman was driving a Toyota car. His car broke down, trying to fix, and I parked and I told my cousin that I was to lead the people, and you want to crush the people, you want to prepare the people. Before you lead the people, you must first love these people. You must have compassion towards the people. That is only when you can deliver good governance and deliverance of democracy to the people. Without that, you cannot empower people. The only thing Obaseki has succeeded in doing in 4 years is just Edo Best. After that, it's all scam, MOU. So whether he likes it or not, his government has collapsed. People will begin to resign every day. He should look out for it. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you, our incoming governor. First of all, I have to apologize to you because in the last election, we worked against you. You are my senior brother. We are from Orion, and I regretted working for Obaseki. He gave me a position as a commissioner. I took it with good faith, and as an Orion person, I have never one day see one file, any work going in Orion. The only thing the chairman will tell me that somebody went to Orion yesterday to work, and I will say, chairman, from where to where? He will say that is how the governor said they should be working. I say, is that so? He will say yes. Things that are coming to my local government, they will take it to Bobaoka. So almost 2 years I have been there. The only work we do is the work that Oshomole has done before he left. We only go for inspection for those old jobs that Oshomole did. I sat down one day when my people came from Orion. There were about 50 of them. They came to my office. They said, what are you doing here? I said, how? They said, are you representing us or you are not representing us? I told them I'm representing them. They said, you are not. When I sat them down and told them the power that they gave to me here, that I'm powerless. So because of all this, when I heard that my brother, my senior brother is coming in, I thank my God. I said I'm going to take myself out of this bondage. And I have resigned today as the commissioner in oil and gas representing Orion. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Your Excellency. Good afternoon, Your Excellency, our new coming governor, by God's grace. Like I stated in my resignation letter earlier this morning, I said I'm a party man. And even before now, people already know where my allegiance is. So my colleagues have been calling me, you are still there. I said, but even when I'm there, as far as I'm concerned, that's our labor. Whether the governor has switched his allegiance or not, for now, as far as I'm concerned, it's our labor. I voted for the party. So with the position of my elder brother, you already know where I should be. But I cannot just resign, because for me, I have worked for it. I've been given this appointment and opportunity to serve my people. So at the appropriate time, we'll call it quits, so that we can hopefully identify with our party, join hands to see how we can get back APC to rule the Edo State people. We are not going to talk more, my colleague has spoken enough. So from today, we will hopefully convert vote for our party, and by God's grace, we'll go to win. Congratulations.
Gentlemen, I want to welcome our very illustrious brothers to our campaign office. Today is another milestone in the journey to move our state forward, change the present deceit, and install a government that will truly represent the interests of our people. It's not easy to hear people resigning from key positions in government. People struggle to get appointment. But I'm sure Edo people have noticed that the contrary has become the case in Edo. The chief of staff to the governor has resigned. Serving commissioners in the cabinet have resigned. And today, 3 more commissioners representing the 3 senatorial districts have also resigned. It tells a story of a government that is collapsing fast. And it tells us that you can deceive the people some of the time, but you cannot deceive them all of the time. The truth eventually must come out. I listened carefully to our brothers, and nobody can ignore what they have said. Starting with Prince Emmanuel Odigie, popularly known across the state as Gaddafi. His comments that this is a government that is built on deceit, this is a government that is fraudulent in activities, is something that the people cannot ignore. This is a statement coming from somebody who was an insider. It's only that, unlike some people, he has a conscience. And his love for his people and Edo State supersedes the love for position. He gave us a vivid example. Adams Oshomole was governor of this state many years ago. The roads he constructed in his local government are still intact. The man who succeeded him, who is presently in office seeking for a second term, the only road he did in his local government has washed away. What do you make of that? Is that the continuity that we're talking about? I'm also happy that he has exposed the fraud in the so-called Esan agenda being mentioned in some quarters by those who believe that is the only way they can get Esan vote. And he has told people a governor that does not respect some people, a government where some people do not even play second fiddle and are not reckoned with, is that the government that wants to give us governor? That is just deceit. I want to thank him for his courage and for the revelations he has made today. Of course, in the usual manner, they will say that he has been given millions. But we trust the people to know that even though this man is a good friend, since I came into the APC, I have not had any physical contact with him. That will tell you the integrity that is made of. He has not had any secret meeting with me, and he didn't need to consult me before he took the decision that he took, because he's a man. He's not representing me, he was representing his people. So even if you have to consult anybody, not Pastor Ize-Iyamu, but his people. But I know that they will begin to say, oh, he took millions, he took that. But the blackmail will not change the truth or the substance of what he has said. And I want to assure you that history will appreciate you for the courage to speak the truth. Let me also welcome my brother Atu from Orion. He's my brother. And I'm happy that he was able to confess. How can I be a commissioner in the Edo State Oil Commission, representing a major oil producing local government, and I cannot see any project in my local government. I did not come into the commission to rubbish my name. I came because I thought that I will use my office to develop my place. Unfortunately, it's all been fraud. The so-called projects that they say they do in my local government, I'm not aware of them. They only mention it in the newspaper. They mention it on TV. I've not seen them, and I'm not aware of it. That statement again reveals the fraud of this present government. When they tell us wait and see governor, we do not know that they meant wait and see fraud. Wait and see fraud, because these things don't exist. I want to thank him for being able to speak truth to power. I want to thank him for being able to resign his position, because Orion, where he comes from, was being neglected. Orion, we celebrate you.
Yeah.
I want to thank you very much. I also want to appreciate my brother Oshomole, who was presenting a donut. I'm happy too that he has mentioned that the governor was not doing a favor by appointing him. Just like they work to put the governor in office, they were also appointed based on their contribution to the success of APC. And so we went there not as a personal appointee of the governor, but somebody who had worked for the party. I was appointed to represent the party and its people. And let me say this. It is undemocratic. It is callous. And it amounts to gross abuse of office to force people to join you to decamp to another party. Moving from party to party is not a thing to be very proud of. I've had to do it. And there are many people today who still complain why I did it. But I've had to explain to them the circumstances that I couldn't handle made me do them. But it's on record that I've never forced anybody to join me in this journey. I remember when I was secretary to government, and many of us were dissatisfied with the goings on in PDP, including even the governor then. Nobody was cajoled or forced. And in fact, many of those in that government had the discretion, the freedom to decide on their political choice. Today, we are seeing appointees of the Edo State government being forced. If you don't join PDP, we will sack you. If you don't join PDP, your entitlements will not be paid. But the local government councils, we have seen a complete mockery of democracy, where even council staff are now mobilized to remove elected councillors simply because they are not ready to go with their compromised chairman. And that is why we are seeing the mass resignation across the state. Councillors are resigning. vice chairmen are resigning, commissioners are resigning. And if what my story, if what my brother mentioned just now is everything to go by, and which I can also confirm, many more are waiting to resign. Many more. Because they are not ready to be forced into a party that is not their choice. Governor Obaseki should know that you can force a horse to the river. You cannot force it to drink water. I wonder how he will force these political appointees, the things he has carried to the PDP, how he will force them to vote for him as a PDP candidate when their heart is APC on election day. I can tell him accurately that on election day, he will be shocked and he will weep when the results come out. Because even this situation right now is enough to make him know that he's on the wrong track. I want to advise him as a brother that it's not too late. It's not too late. He can tell the PDP this morning that they can never continue. I thought that people were with me. But the resignation has made me realize that I took an unpopular decision. The vote of the people in the voice of God. This morning, Obaseki can also resign from the PDP and return back to the APC. That will be the part of honor. That will be the part of honor. We don't even need an apology from him. We accept him as a brother who made a grievous mistake. We will bring him back. Not as governor, but at least he will finish his tenure and he will not be disgraced. The path is currently treading is a path that will be tragic, that will be shameful, and that will be lonely. At the end of the day, he will look back and he will not see anybody. Many more people are very set. Some have told us that they would like to collect August salary because they want to have enough money to use for September election. There are some out there who say they can afford to leave August. The moment they collect July salary, they will leave. These gentlemen were not even patient enough to collect July salary. And they said they will forgo that and they will leave. I want to salute your courage. And I want to assure you that you will be treated as heroes because it's not easy to leave your comfort zone and do what you have done. It takes courage, it takes honor, it takes integrity. And we salute you, we appreciate you. On that note, I want to welcome you back and we thank you for what you have done. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Hello, good morning to you. We're here again to further x-ray the POI simple agenda so that we can have a greater understanding of what Pastor Osage Ize-Iyamu has in store for Edo people if given the opportunity. And with us today to do just that for us is the Edo South coordinator of the APC Campaign Council for the Edo 2020 governorship election. He's also the former minority whip of the House of Representatives in the person of Right Honorable Samson Osage. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here.
It's very wonderful to have you here with us, sir.
Thank you very much.
Sir, before we go on, can you just tell us a little about yourself so we're launching, let the people know you?
Yes, thank you very much. It is with my profound respect and honor to be part of this tray aimed at resuscitating governance in Edo State in all aspects of human endeavor, in all sectors of our state economy and the life of our state. I was first and foremost a member of the Edo State House of Assembly, elected in 1999 and re-elected in 2003. A two-time member of the Edo State House of Assembly. In 2007, I was elected to represent Orion Federal Constituency, and that is the federal constituency of the candidate, Pastor Ize-Iyamu. I was in the House of Representatives for 2 terms of 8 years. The last term of 4 years, I was the minority whip of the All Progressive Congress in the party. I have also served in corporate capacities in federal institutions under the Nigerian Communication Satellite Limited as an executive director. I am a lawyer by training. I have been in public service and interested in public service to advance the cause of humanity and societal development. Because what is life generally if you do not put yourself in a position to render service to people and develop your environment? And I think that is the whole essence of a meaningful life, and that is why I've dedicated my life to the service of my people, the service of my state, the service of my community, and the service of my fellow human beings.
Thank you, sir. That's very wonderful.
Thank you.
Before we go on, please be very well aware that we are on Facebook at Pastor Ize-Iyamu and also on Twitter at POI Simple Agenda. You can be part of the show there. You can comment, you can ask questions, and we will do well to read them. So I'm very, I think you are aware and you're familiar of this, the POI Simple Agenda, because that's why we're here.
Yes, the POI Simple Agenda, which in all material particulars,
yes,
captures the manifesto of change for the All Progressive Congress, is our compass going forward into Edo governance, and it has been put together by the candidates of the party and party stewards in order to ensure that Edo people understands what our party, the APC, and its candidate has in stock for us in the next 4 years going into the future of our state when elected by the people of Edo State in the September 19 general election. And the philosophy behind this is to let people know that we are prepared to sign a social contract, giving this particular platform on the simple agenda as a basis upon which Edo people is to hold us responsible, is to hold the candidate and the party accountable to the promises we are making to Edo people. At the moment, even as this campaign ranges in Edo State, this is what has distinguished the APC and its candidate from the other candidates of other political party seeking election in 2020.
Yes, sir. So it is no news that the Pastor Ize-Iyamu is a transparent man, giving us this to hold him accountable at the end of his term as governor, if given the opportunity. Now you are aware and very familiar with this. What would you have to say about the area of security, given the current state of security in Edo State right now, and the rise in criminal activities, the rise in all sorts of fraudulent activities, and then how would we flush out criminals from this state?
Thank you very much. I want to state clearly that the simple agenda is an acronym for capturing the developmental goals of Edo people, and S stands for security, I stands for infrastructure, M stands for manpower development, P stands for public-private partnership, L stands for leadership by example, and E stands for employment and empowerment. Now you will understand that the security and welfare of people is the primary responsibility of government. No wonder this agenda begins with an S. As of today, Edo State has come to its lowest ebb in terms of provision of security. There is a governance failure on the part of the incumbent government in the area of security. And that is why today you have kidnappings all over the place. Today you have armed robbery and banditry all over the place. And the government of the day is practically doing nothing about it. At the beginning of this administration, we tend to have a sigh of relief when we heard that a security outfit called Wabaisiga was put in place by this government. Little did you know that this outfit was meant to chase and intimidate and harass political opponents of government. That is not how a government that is responsible and responsive should deal with security issues in our state. It was in this state a judge of a high court was kidnapped. It was in this state high-level prominent citizens and not so prominent citizens have been kidnapped and killed. It is in this state that thugs have taken over the streets, fighting political opponents, burning down vehicles, planting thugs in airports in order to cause mayhem, all targeted at political opponents. It is in this state that people are being killed and buried at shrines. And to be honest with you, this government has performed below expectation in this area. The simple agenda under Pastor Ize-Iyamu as governor, we have promised and committed ourselves to the fact that within 6 months, the Pastor Ize-Iyamu led administration will endeavor to flush out all criminals from all the nooks and crannies of Edo State. And what does that take? Is investment, huge investment in security, both in terms of manpower, both in terms of equipment, in terms of vehicles. And in doing this, there shall be a combined effort of all security architecture in the state, a well-funded security architecture that will take into cognizance the peculiarities of our environment and the role of traditional institutions in ensuring that peace and security returns. I have no doubt in my mind that Pastor Ize-Iyamu will commit himself to ensuring that those citizens will sleep with their 2 eyes closed upon becoming governor of Edo State. I have no doubt in my mind that Edo farmers, Edo traders will travel on our highways and go to their farms without any fear of being kidnapped either in their farms or on the highway. I have no doubt in my mind that Pastor Ize-Iyamu will judiciously utilize the security vote of the state and of the office of the governor to ensure huge investment in the procurement of vehicles, in the procurement of technologies, latest technologies in tracking down criminals, and encouraging all security agencies to ensure that they are on top of their game and that no criminal enters the shores of Edo State and returns safe. Yes. He is committed to that. The APC government is committed to that. The APC members and leadership, they are committed to that. Security and welfare is the primary responsibility of government. And any government who fails to do that, such as we have under Governor Godwin Obaseki, is not worthy of being re-elected. And that is why this campaign is centered around issues, first of which is security. Pastor Ize-Iyamu and the APC come 2020 will commit government resources in huge numbers into fighting insecurity and ensuring that those charged with responsibility of law enforcement, of guaranteeing a crime-free society, are not only just encouraged, they are given the right tools and provided the right environment to work. And that is why you have X, which means security, as the very first fundamental goal of this administration, of the administration of Pastor Ize-Iyamu, come November 2020.
Thank you, sir. We have seen that education is the key and the children are the future of tomorrow, but in this current administration, they have been completely ignored. They have been completely ignored and put by the side. So what does the POI simple agenda have in store for education in the aspect of employing more teachers? Some schools have as low as 4 teachers in a whole secondary school. And what is the plan to employ teachers, to empower them, to pay them proper salaries, and to encourage them to train these children properly?
Thank you so much. You will agree with me that the state of education in Edo State at the moment is parlous. Edo witnessed progress in this education last under Governor Adams Oshiomhole. And since Adams Oshiomhole left office, the public infrastructures in our schools, which he put in place, have degenerated beyond recognition. So much so that there are very few schools that may have been built or renovated. No chairs. We still do not have chairs in schools that otherwise had chairs in the last 8 years of Governor Adams Oshomole. Today, what we have is that rather than recruit teachers, to teach students in our schools, what we have is the recruitment of consultants to come from across the country, not even Edo State, to come and train teachers. And each of these consultants are being paid $1,500,000 for the purpose of training teachers and so on and so forth. Today, our students are all at home, our pupils are all at home, courtesy of the COVID-19 pandemic, while private schools are making efforts to teach their pupils and their students online, deploying the means of technology. The Edo public schools cannot teach their students online, and you wonder, how do you justify the huge investment in technology for Edo education? And that is what they call Edo Best. If what they have in place is Edo Best, I beg to disagree that that can be only Edo Worst. An education policy and practice that cannot adapt with the changing realities of the society, an education program that cannot adapt with the COVID-19 pandemic so as to continue to guarantee the teaching and learning of our students, even under the regime of lockdown across the country and across the state, then it is a worthless investment that has been made in that sector. So for the simple agenda under Pastor Ize-Iyamu as governor, I can assure you that modern technologies for teaching and learning will be deployed to our schools. Teachers will be recruited, because what we have today is one teacher, one school. Teachers will be recruited across the state in order that our students are able to get teachers in all the subjects. In some schools today, you have less than 4 teachers in a whole school, from class 1 to to SS1, JSS1 to SS3. That is not healthy for our educational system. The teachers will be trained and retrained in a manner that will make them bring their training to be useful to the educational sector, to the education of our children in Edo State. Not what we are having today, where huge sums of money have been purportedly invested in training of teachers, a training which has not been able to impact positively on the learning and training of our children. So for us, with the POI simple agenda, the administration will embark on massive training of teachers, will embark on guaranteeing allowances outside their salary for teachers in order to encourage them to do well. We will embark on regular inspection of schools, because in those days there used to be inspection of schools, where you have inspectors who visit school to know the state of affairs in terms of schools infrastructure, in terms of manpower development, in terms of output of what the teachers are teaching the students. The simple agenda will concentrate on massive infrastructure in our education, rebuilding our schools that have become dilapidated, because there was a redwood revolution which transformed over 70% of our public schools. And now, with the expansion of the population of our people, we now discover that the schools we have in Edo State are grossly inadequate. We have paid visit to a number of new communities, new settlements, where you don't have school infrastructure, where you don't have health infrastructure. The simple agenda of the Pastor Ize-Iyamu administration come November 2020, you take into cognizance areas and new towns and satellite communities that have sprung up without education facilities. For example, in Okpara, bypass houses, in Upper Sakomba, bypass houses, Sapere, bypass houses. These are new settlements in Benin City that do not have public schools. Now, under the POI simple agenda, we are going to embark on massive reconstruction of schools already in existence and new schools in new areas where there are no school infrastructures.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Before we continue, we'll have to go on a break. And we're going to talk about funding. The POI simple agenda is very beautiful, but in all truth, we know that money is a big factor considering that the current governor or the current government has really drained the state of funds. So how are we going to raise funds for this? So we'll be going on a short break now, and when we're back, we'll discuss on funding. Thank you.
Thank you.
It is what I call the simple agenda. I've been very consistent with this agenda because I believe in it. This is a simple document that many people will be able to understand and run with. And in the next couple of weeks, I intend to be talking to Edo people that they can understand what this agenda stands for.
The man for that assignment is Pastor Osagie Ize-Iyamu. And he has articulated the nitty-gritty of his conceptualization in getting Edo State to that elevation of social, political, and economic risorgimento by his simple agenda.
Security and social welfare, infrastructure development and urban renewal, manpower development and training, public and private partnerships, leadership by example, employment and empowerment.
Edo ni mo ṣe.
Iyegbe ohun sa Osagie Ize-Iyamu nda operan terin omo ese no bagie.
Iyegbe Osagie Ize-Iyamu nda omanojo sadi gedegbe eyinu.
Iyegbe ke ohun sa Osagie mi agbon no Ize-Iyamu nda gbogbe opia no ojoku yari noku no be moku kiyan eyinu.
Iyegbe osa Osagie Ize-Iyamu runda opiano yina yenedo ya yenedo no opiano wilele na alele be do no yenedo no
Mahmoud Osagie Ize-Iyamu
APC.
Welcome back. We are still on the POI simple agenda, and here with us is Honorable Samson Osagie. Sorry for that, Honorable Samson Osagie. And we're planning on talking of the plan for funding for the POI simple agenda, considering the current state of the state. How are we going to raise funds to take care of all of that?
Yeah, it is true that the current government has plunged Edo State into serious debt crisis with over $280 million debt overhang on the state economy. But thank God that government is a continuum, and our human and natural resources, which Edo State is reputed for, will still be available by the time he leaves office. And that is why in the simple agenda you have public-private partnership. And the intention of deploying public-private partnership is to ensure that government create a lively environment for some of the programs it is putting in place to be done in conjunction with the private sector. And that will have a multiplier effect on the entire economy. When government involves the private sectors into driving its development agenda, then you can have a robust economy that can put food on the table of virtually everyone. And in terms of funding, I believe that so much misapplication of funds have been done, by this current administration. And I believe that there will be need to look into some of these areas where wastages have been done, where recoveries can be made, in order to ensure that the people get value for their money and for their taxes. It is the right of the people to know how their money is being spent, how it was being spent, and how the spending have impacted on their lives. And I tell you that Edo is ordinarily not a poor state, but under this administration, a lot of wastages have occurred, and those wastages will be plugged. Edo people are very law-abiding people. They have been paying their taxes even under circumstances that have not been congenial. However, the Pastor Ize-Iyamu administration will devise all means possible to ensure that other sources of revenue other than federal allocation and internally generated revenue are embarked upon in order to ensure that there is enough funds to provide for the programs it is putting in place. And I believe that within the first 4 years, Edo people will have a sigh of relief from a government that is currently being deceitful and wasteful of the revenue of our state. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. You have heard it all. Edo people, the ball is in your courts. Vote wisely.
Vote POI. Did you capture that?
Thank you, guys. Set off for the next week. Set off.
I'll be very consistent. Because I believe in it. This is a simple document that many people will be able to understand and run with. And in the next couple of weeks, I intend to be talking to Edo people that they can understand what this agenda stands for.
The man for that assignment is Pastor Ize-Iyamu. And he has articulated the nitty-gritty of his conceptualization in getting Edo State to that elevation of social, political, and economic risorgimento by his simple agenda.
Security and social welfare, infrastructure development and urban renewal, manpower development and training, public and private partnerships, leadership by example, employment and empowerment.
Edo ni mo se. Ibi Edo nuzomo, Edo ne wa ire, Edo ni godo mi godo. Itu okwe atoko, itu rame tujeme, itu omo boto mo gbe. Obi kwa bedo laje wa zeno dena. E mo rupa je bebi la o. Orupa ma gwa lo ma gwa le bebi. Dobi wa ni kana, ohosa, osage, no Ize-Iyamu. No we gbon laje ebe na tie simple agenda. Owo irun tanya do mu paye wi mana. Orupa ma gwa lo ma gwa le bebi. Orupa raro, ebi ebiri wa. Wagma yare bojo yeke. Upo ne ma ya fo orupa ne ma bupo ya. Odo doleji ni ma mo pa. Nda orupa ro wa. Ima kemi sasun. Na egbe gbeke bebi.
It is what I call the simple agenda. I've been very consistent with this agenda because I believe in it. This is a simple document that many people will be able to understand and run with. And in the next couple of weeks, I intend to be talking to Edo people that they can understand what this agenda stands for.
The man for that assignment is Pastor Ize-Iyamu. And he has articulated the nitty-gritty of his conceptualization in getting Edo State to that elevation of social, political, and economic risorgimento by his simple agenda.
Security and social.
DJ TV.